Well, this one will be a little different. I will grant Nora a point before taking it away. Uh, she did a very strange, very long stream, which a huge part was devoted just to attacking Zero Dark Tony. I've covered it in the previous video, but there was a lot there, so I just want to add a few more details. So before Nora was accusing Tony of being an OSA agent, and she admits there's really nothing there with the OSA accusation. But she's convinced he's a paid agent of Scientology, referenced some Hubbard and Scientology texts, and said, yeah, this is following their pattern, although it was really nothing. It just stated the obvious. Hey, if you have an enemy, you use propaganda against an enemy. I mean, Hubbard was many things, but a lot of his work is not very profound. It is just stating the obvious, and there we are. But now we have to take away the point because you have to think to yourself, well, wait a minute. If they have $4 billion, even if Zero Dark Tony is a paid agent, and even if Nora's fantasy that he goes to jail next year happens, they'll just get another paid agent. So I don't know. Anyway, so apparently Nora thinks everything's being banked on Tony, despite the cult having $4 billion in reserves. But there we are. Now into more fun, silly updates with Scoville and Reese. And I got to be very careful because Reese is getting all kinds of angry. So apparently, Scoville and Reese headed to Vegas. But let me give a little bit more context because this year was wild. So many months ago, they were promising that together they would do, uh, well, I don't want to say erotic, but basically a very hot and bothered kind of podcast together. But that collapsed because out of nowhere, they broke up. And it seemingly was Scoville. So, anyway, so just a while ago, they were broken up. And Reese was moving on. They weren't enemies. She was still friendly, but it's over, guys. And now, out of nowhere, again, they're coming back together. And to move the relationship forward, they become a spy couple. So, yeah, that's kind of weird. So, apparently, to Reese, they are doing hard hitting, tracking down a cult. I think she doesn't know what a cult is. She's misusing the word. But anyway, they're spying on some people. And to put it mildly, they were probably not very happy. And they were continuing their spy games. But when they tried, some difficulties happened. Apparently, the hotel they were staying at wasn't very amused by their attempt to do Black Widow, the Reseers or whatever. So the police and the hotel basically told them to get out of town. So they're going to have to find a new location to continue their Batman slash Catwoman adventures. It all sounds so absurd, so absurd. And it's hard to tell what is true, what is false. I mean, again, their stories keep coming out and they're just such tall tales. It's very hard to make sense of what is true, what is false. Again, we understand what Reese is doing. She's just trying to find something entertaining for the audience. But yeah, really, unless you're like really licensed professionals, people don't appreciate you trying to spy on them. They're going to get a little angry at that. So I don't know. What did they think was going to happen? That people would be okay with getting implicated in all these weird fantasies? I don't know. It just seems just use a little common sense. But there we go. So the Scoville Reese spy adventure is on pause as of this recording. But I'm guessing by the time this is released, they're going to jump back into their spy adventure or their construction of a spy adventure. So I want to do a preface before I talk about the McLaurys because I actually want to try to be clear on the record. And again, I like Doug. Hopefully, people know that. We'll do a lot of pro Doug stuff. Doug was right about many things, and Doug was pretty solid on many things. But his interactions with the McLaurys were a little weird. It seemed like he was excited that he was going to collaborate with them and have them on as guests and do work with them. But then out of nowhere, they had a big brouhaha. Again, preface, I do like Doug, but it just seemed Doug was getting very hostile, and it was already all on his side. I'm not sure why, but he got really, really angry with them. So, yeah, It was very strange, but the evidence is out there. I'm not here to hide things, so you can find it yourself. It was very strange. Again, Doug is a good guy, but he could fly into these rages. I've had moments like that, just to be clear, so I don't want to judge him too harshly, but yeah, some of his final interactions with McLaury's was not good, not good. So yeah, there's that. Okay, let's jump into the McLaury's proper. So just to be consistent, uh, same thing with Zero Dark Tony. Zero Dark Tony has gotten many things right, but he also gets many things wrong. But with the McLaurys, he did do a lot because they've really been suppressed. Not clear why, but the SBTV people clearly just wanted them to go away. So Zero Dark Tony giving them a lot of promotion, at least a while back, was actually very helpful. However, he did get a couple things wrong. So Mike and Virginia are asking that Tony correct the record and try to do some fact checking and fact updates with them and the content that he's putting out. We'll have to wait and see if he does that. I'm not exactly hopeful there, but there we are. And in addition, Virginia, in a very friendly manner, is asking Dana slash Rotting Jules, or AKA Rotting Jules, whether on her channel or another channel, to debate some of the issues they've had back and forth in terms of researching the Process Church. Very briefly, the Process Church is kind of a splinter group inspired by Scientology, although Virginia and Dana are kind of challenging that Wikipedia interpretation and saying that it may have been a more sophisticated intelligence operation. We'll have to wait and see where that goes. So, Virginia is basically asking Dana to do a friendly debate. Whatever I think of Dana now, again, in the past, she was a pretty solid researcher and very dedicated. And they did a lot of good work collaborating together, but that fell apart. Again, for the record, I was there on Twitter when that whole split started to happen, and it was very puzzling. And I was, for whatever reason, caught in the maelstrom. And again, I was actually trying to be nice to both sides, but Dana just, for whatever reason, took me as a hostile enemy and now thinks I'm some kind of devil processing, I guess. I don't know. It's very strange. I doubt any debate is going to happen, but for the record, she's being challenged for a debate. Again, Virginia is getting up there, so they're going to have to do a scheduling that is convenient for her, but we'll have to wait and see. So, for the record, a debate is being offered. I hope Dana takes it, but got to be honest at this point, she is getting caught up in her persona as a demon fighter and I'm a hick and we're fighting demons, y'all, and her Uncle Buck persona. So, we'll have to wait and see. So those are the fact checks all around. And as I've noted in some other videos, I'm going to start skewing the content back into fantasy because there's a lot out there with Dune, Game of Thrones. There's a lot going on. So I'll probably be putting a lot of stuff out there. It's already been recorded, so just be patient. But yeah, it's coming. It should be a lot. So I know some people just tune into the Scientology, anti-Scientology updates, but please try to give that content a chance. And please consider becoming a channel member and supporting the channel through whatever means possible. Thanks for listening.